Should we talk about Hold Me Like a Heaven? Because that's my favourite track on the album.
Yay!
Would have been a massive hit despite, but unfortunately it's sung by a kind of a short burly Welshman, I think.
Oh yeah, what's that? Sorry. The subs put that in at the last minute. I didn't know that.
Tottenham fans, you and Wire, it's good in my life.
So that was the last track. That was quite a late comer to the process, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I do think not at all saying about it's about Ismail Albino. It's not. But I do think that Nick writing that lyric was just emotionally very, very, very wide open. And that's what kind of like kind of struck me when I got the lyric, and I felt I always feel a sense of responsibility when I get a lyric of Wire in the past, Richie and Wire, but kind of I felt like really, if he can be this open with a lyric, I've really got to search for the tune. Because I didn't want it to fail. I wanted that lyric on the record. And it's so much, it comes back to the lyrics. You think about the album lyrically, you just do. Even if you don't write them, you just think about the album lyrically and how it all adds up. And that just seemed to explain a lot of the soul searching in some of the lyrics. It just showed that we were older, definitely more open to being wrong, to being confused, to not having an opinion sometimes. So yeah, it took a while to write the tune, and I remember, I spent ages with that lyric, and I got so frustrated, and me and Sean were in the studio. Nick wasn't in the studio that day because his mum was really ill, and I just kind of flung the lyric at Sean. I said, just give me a point I can jump off from, just give me a verse, musically. And Sean is brilliant when he does a verse. Sometimes it's just so simple, but the vocal is so that he writes is so great around simple chords. So as an example, in the past, No Surface or Feeling was me struggling with the lyric, and Sean came up with the verse, and it was so simple, but it gave me the chance to really, the vocal line was great, the chords are simple, and then it gave me a chance to kind of explode with writing the chorus musically. So Sean, of course, came downstairs within half hour. What about this, man? And kind of like, see what we can do with that. And so the pressure's back on me, And so I remember we were just about to go to Nice, to do the video for International Blue. And I managed to get a guitar when we were out in Nice, and I came up with the chorus. Kind of the last night in Nice, before we were going to go back, we finished filming the video with Kieran Evans. And I'm not saying, there's nothing complicated really about the chorus, the chords or anything. It's just finding the right thing sometimes, that's all it is. I'm not saying that I'm trying to innovate, I'm not saying I'm trying to come up with anything unique, it's just trying to find the right thing, it's as simple as that.
Did you feel like when you wrote that chorus that, was that your sort of first go in Nice, that you got it straight away?
No, I'd been through, it was a bit like Faster, I remember like the time when I counted how many times David contradicted me. With Faster, I remember I counted how many times I'd done a tune, and it was just rubbish. I was living at my parents' house still then, and so I remember I got to the 19th time with Faster going, I'd written something and it was awful. And I had this lyric in front of me. Imagine having the Faster lyric in front of me. I'm just going, it's so fucking good. And you're just like, oh God, I've got to come up with something that's at least as half as good as the words. So felt that pressure, and then on the 20th time I got it, and it was the same with just the chorus, Hold Me Like a Heaven. It's deeply frustrating when it happened, and they were just little bits and bobs, it was just, sometimes it wasn't fully formed, but I went through so many little different versions.
I remember in every spare moment for the last month of the record, whether I was comping a vocal or editing some drums or whatever, it was just up for the lyric, Hold Me Like a Heaven, just countless versions of Hold Me Like a Heaven. And the version came they were already doing the video for International Blue. Nick and Sean had given up on that. Not just on that song being on the record. It was like, we don't need it. We've got loads of great songs. It's done. pushed it on through. And I mean, we did it at the very, very last minute, but the latest it could possibly be.
Can you write without a lyric in front of you?
No, not really. To be honest, like yeah, if I know I'm kind of writing an instrument, if I know I got something in front of me, you know, then like you know, Dream in the City on Futurology, that was kind of, I knew that I had the title Dream in the City, which is stolen from a kind of like an industrial history book, and you know, I just want to write an instrumental. So when you've got that in your head, fine. And if you know you're writing something which has no lyrical narrative, you can write music, but I can't write music and say, right, I've got a la-di-da, na-na-na, rhubarb, and I'll look for a good lyric to come along. Because I need the lyrics to inform the music, and more often than not, they just do, you know. I mean, I want to come up with Walking Abortions without the lyric in front of me. Sean want to come up with, you know, the verse music for Intense on of Evil without those words in front of him. You know, it's as simple as that.
I mean, in that sense, what did you have in your head when you got the lyric for Eternity?
I thought it was kind of cute, to be honest. Like, you know, in a cool way. I like, everybody always thinks that, you know, we're so gobby and we're so arrogant, but we're always illustrating how many people it is taking to make us this stupid. You know, it's like to be this, you know, to be seemingly have this much stupid belief in ourselves. You know, we always use other people's quotes to illustrate the sentence that we can't finish for ourselves. We've always got mosaics. Haven't you noticed from the start, we've always just got, you know, just collages of people that have inspired us. So, and you know, we've always said it's other people's fault that we like this kind of thing. And yeah, it was just, when he gave me the lyric, it was lovely because kind of, round about then is when next month started getting seriously ill and stuff, and he gave me that lyric. But there's nothing conscious about that. Kind of, I just remember thinking, I don't think we've ever had a lyric like this, which, you know, of course there's been Emily, obviously about Emily Pankhurst, on My Blood. You know, there's been lots of songs which are written in tribute to somebody, but that one was just plain and obvious, just like, God, you know, he's gone. You know, I'm kind of like, you know, every time I look at David Bowie, I'm gonna have to think about him in retrospect. There's no future. You know, there's no future project of David Bowie. It's like that thing, you know, Nick says, all, you know, all those markers go, you know, whether it be Boots or W. Smith, or like, you know, things will disappear from the landscape and you won't recognize life as you once knew it again. And Bowie was one of those things, but intrinsically he was much more linked into a lot of musicians' soul, you know, and Nick was always obsessed with his hair. You know, Nick absolutely just loved his hair. Just, he said there's not one other person that ever had that many haircuts. They were amazing. I thought, you know, free to admit, obviously, like kind of, you know, the Glass Spider tour, yeah, horrific hair, yeah, terrible. Blue Jean, pretty bad hair too. But like, you know, but before that, just slab after slab of amazing haircuts. So, you know, that's an kind of like, you know, it's understandable why he wrote a lyric about him just for the hair as well.
And then before we get some questions from the audience, tell me about how was it when you finally put a full stop on the record? How does that happen where you have to cut it? It's done. What's the vibe in the studio then?
Fear, uncertainty. It was really, anyone that makes records will tell you it's really hard to say that's finished. That's why it's good. If we do get something outside to mix, that can be a good thing because it gives you that distance. He has a new perspective on things, and you're just like, yeah, it sounds great. Whereas when you're mixing it yourself, you can still tweak, you can still do something else. You can change this guitar, you can do whatever. So, well, I mean, you know, when you do put it in the order and finished mixes, the cut is always a great day. Like when you get the cut, you listen to the whole thing.
James, would you like to play one more song before we take questions from the audience?
Yeah.
Please. Thank you.